What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Past the Six. I am your host, JB. Joining me as always, Tokyo Swift and Gamer Live Look is here today. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, beautiful people? I hope you guys are having a great week.
No doubt, man. Yo, we got a big show today, man. We got some stuff to talk about. We're gonna cover we're gonna talk about a what if scenario. We're gonna talk about best video game films of all time. We're gonna talk about also what games have to drop in 2025. The time is up, man. I can't wait for those combos, but as always, we're gonna kick the show off with what games you're currently playing. We're gonna start off with Gamer Live Look, man.
So I'm switching up the Call of Duty. That's normally what I'm on every day, but I've actually been dabbling in some Undisputed.
Okay.
Also got into Off the Grid, which is phenomenal. It's a really good game. Really good game. Got back into the Division 2 as well. So that's what I've been doing. Off the Grid has a lot of potential. The fact that it's once you get into it, it's a little hard to first understand where your limbs or your augmentation limbs each have special abilities, and then you got to be Lieutenant Dan and get new legs and all that stuff. But outside of that, man, it's awesome, and it's Fortnite based, so it's a third person battle royale. So the third person view is a little different, something to get used to and stuff like that. But it is fun. Undisputed is just boxing. It actually does have that fight night feel, which is awesome to
Okay.
have back in boxing. So that's definitely a good thing. And the division is just a division. It's close to my heart. So I love it.
Tokyo Swift, what you been playing?
I went back to the show 2024 like this week. Like Jesse watching playoff baseball. Like I always get that time. Like we're gonna start watching playoff baseball. Oh man, like this is where it's at. Like that. So I want to jump back in. It makes me jump back into the game. So I've been playing that a lot. Like started a new road to the show again. Like because I just keep like that's like my fourth one on this game so far. But yeah, like. Just like doing my thing, like trying to like get into the Hall of Fame like that. Like I usually like to play like a couple, like at least like five or six seasons. Like I can probably squeeze that out before I either get bored and start a new one, or just sort of switch to a new game all together. But I've been playing that. Of course, been playing like my City Skylines 2, my Civilization. There was another game I played. Damn. That like I mean, of course, I'm still playing like a Mario Odyssey. That's some cool. Like we went through a New Donk City. I'm like the way like the trailers and like the gameplay like videos were set it up. I thought you was going to be there for majority of the time. It's like, nah, you here for this? Okay, now bye. Like we'll go somewhere else. Yeah, I like. Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be like, okay, this is basically like the main backdrop. So I'm like, okay. Right. So I mean, but it's still cool so far. Very intricate, like in terms of a Mario game, in terms of the controls, way more controls around like this time again. But like that's what Nintendo did, man. Like easy to learn, hard to master kind of thing. So
what's your thoughts on how they incorporated the 2D, the 3D? Like
there's that's so much cool. Like
yeah.
It's cool because like I mean like Nintendo, like if you want to equate like video game companies to like sports, Nintendo is like the MLB, man. Like they know how to value and honor tradition and their legacy, so like that was super cool. I was like had to switch, like, hey, right? Like this is the new stuff, but we don't forget about the old stuff. I mean, could you imagine like say like a Resident Evil game like being 3D and then switching back to those like weird camera angles like for a section? Like yeah, I mean, so like I mean, like that stuff that only Nintendo can
yeah, for sure.
With.
All right, so for me, I've been playing Modern Warfare 3 still. I've also played some College Football 25. Just pop that game back in for the first time in a little while. I also checked out NBA 2K25. I know Wave enjoys it. For me, it's just more like I don't really get into the my player mode because it's just too time consuming. So I just checked out a few of like the actual like I play now type games. It was cool, definitely smoother than I remember. But again, NBA games, I feel like that phase for me is over. Like I said, when it comes to Game Pass or something, I'll check it out here and there. But in terms of like playing it in and out or playing like a franchise mode or the my player, I think I'm basically done with that. Also, I played some Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Still like that game, still enjoying that game heavy. But like Tokyo Swift said before the show started, we in that season now where games are dropping left and right. So trying to keep up with all these games and having that backlog of just stuff that I'm supposed to play, want to play, trying to finish up is like a nightmare right now. But it's a good problem to have because we went through months where it was like ain't nothing new out.
The drought is over, man. The drought is over. Like it's coming. Oh wait, I there was one more game I was playing. I started playing Seafood as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because like it was like
Game
came
Pass.
out on Game Pass. So like I was playing through it, and I'm like, because it was funny because I started playing it right after like the show last week, and I was talking away. Was saying about how like yo you got to play it on like the hard difficulty stuff like that. So I was like, they was like okay, like the normal difficulty, for normal difficulty, and they said hey for extra challenge you want to play on a hard difficulty. I was like, I can't be a hypocrite, man. Like I just said, you got to play on the hard difficulty. So I started there. It's hard, like it's hard because it's like look, man, because when like it's like think kung fu like some like good Jackie Chan movies and shit like that, where it's like okay, he's fighting like a group of people. They're not like sitting there waiting their turn to jump in. It's like that. They all attack at the same time. It's like so. It's like it's kind of had the feel of like the Arkham Knights of fight mechanics, like how you can like combo into like in different directions and stuff like that. But it's like when like if they got weapons, they start wailing on you. Done, man. Like, you're done. Like so, you done.
Absolutely. Jess said, "Hey," she said, playing Rolling Hills off Game Pass.
Okay.
All right, yo, let's jump into the discussion, man. We're gonna start this one actually with a quick hit. Basically, quick hit. Rumor is the GameCube is coming to the Nintendo Switch Online service. We're not sure if it's going to be in time with the new console. Basically, y'all know how it is. People track down shipping and part numbers and stuff like that, and then they speculate off that. And Nintendo does have a play test that is like top secret, and people are speculating it's the GameCube being a part of that Nintendo Switch Online service. I just want to get y'all quick thoughts on that. So we got the Game Boy, we got the Game Boy Advance, we got the Sega Genesis, the 64, the NES, and the NES, and now possibly the GameCube. I'll start this one off with Tokyo Swift.
It's about time. Like, I'm not sure what they was waiting for. It's like
spacing it out.
Yeah, like it's like slow playing. I'm like, look, if you want to have a like an online like game service, like make people like want to buy. I mean, like especially because obviously games like GameCube games can't be backwards compatible with the Switch because I mean like GameCube games had discs, like right. in the Switch, which is cartridge based, so it's literally impossible to play on there. So I'm like, so short of going out and getting a GameCube, I mean this is the next best thing. I'm like, this is stuff like y'all gotta start doing a little bit earlier, man. I mean, I get it. There's logistics to it, like you gotta like maybe like scale up games or something like that, or port them over, blah blah, whatever. It is what it is, especially because like on consoles where before the internet era. So I mean, like, because GameCube, like, there was no online functionality on it. Like, last time I checked, no, there wasn't. Yeah, so I mean, that's a little bit difficult, but yeah, like, I mean, I don't see how this could be a bad idea. I mean,
Right.
Like, oh no, more games to play. So.
Absolutely. Game Alive. Like, what's your thoughts? And then we'll get to the chat.
If they waited this long to do it, and this once again, this is speculation off the speculation. If they waited this long to do it, that means that there's something that the Super Nintendo Switch, that's what we're calling it, according to everybody now.
Yes.
There's some capabilities there that the Switch didn't have. Either extra buttons or something that's being offered on the new console that the current Switch is not capable of doing, which is allowing this to happen. So
right,
we'll see what happens. We'll see how it happens. It'll be great to see that.
Absolutely.
It'll be great to see the Nintendo GameCube.
I think Nintendo just likes to space stuff out, you know what I mean, basically. And then I think when it comes to that, look, I hope so. I think it'd be dope if they re-release that Wavebird controller, the wireless joint.
I mean, people wave dashing everywhere, man.
I'll be all over WrestleMania 18.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Shout out.
Dashing.
All right, let's get to the chat. Jess, and I hope it's true. That's my thought. Word.
Yeah.
Mike Lewis, let's go, bro. He said finally, and then he said, "Where's that Virtual Boy at?" Nah, we good on that, Mike.
the Virtual Boy is in the Nintendo Museum. They got a whole section dedicated to it.
Yeah, but I don't think we've seen that on the Nintendo.
Oh, it's 3 items and that's it.
Right,
the Virtual Boy,
that's
the person who made it, and the 7 games that came out for it.
That's
the whole exhibit.
All right, yo, let's get into that first topic, man. First thing we talking about is let's do a what if, man. As you see the graphic, man, we got Mario on the PlayStation. What if Mario was multi-platform from day one? I got this question from the internet, and at first I was like, that's who cares, right? But then I'm thinking about it, y'all. Does Sonic even exist if Sega had access to Super Mario Bros. 2, 3, Super Mario World? Does Crash Bandicoot exist on the PlayStation? Like, hell, every console basically had a mascot, especially in that era. If Mario was there to dominate the sales, do we even get some of the games that at least I ended up loving? I know y'all big fans of Sonic as well, Crash, but like, so would that have changed the industry at all? Do y'all think we still would have got Sonic and PlayStation still would have tried to put theirs out despite having access to a Mario 64? What's y'all thoughts on that? Whoever wants to go first is fine.
Go ahead, Wave. Tokyo.
It's like this, man. Like, honestly, I don't think it would be as dramatic as a change that people would think it would. I mean, I still think Sonic would exist. I think Crash Bandicoot would still exist because people like, I mean, I don't know if there's a hot take and stuff like that, but I mean, but Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros. 3 and stuff like that, it was better than Sonic 1 and 2. Like Sonic 2 was that fire, man. I'm like, it was like better, like graphics at the time, better over design, better music by far. So I mean, like, it's like, I mean, it was a good, like, so honestly, I think that it would have been a little bit less competition. So Nintendo would have been able to maybe like push this hard to like to innovate, like if you know, like if they weren't like knee deep in a console war with say Sega. So maybe I mean, I always like the what if scenarios like that because it has to do with like alternate timelines like that, because it's like, because I mean, unforeseen consequences, like possible maybe Nintendo in this timeline, maybe Nintendo decides to, hey, you know what, like we're not in a console war, we can try to push new things. Maybe they don't back out that deal with Sony, and then instead, like, now there's no overpriced PlayStation to buy, you know. So I mean, yeah, so I mean, it's I mean, hey, we never know, but right. Honestly, but thinking like practically, I don't think it would have changed the game industry incredibly. I mean, I feel like there would be a less emphasis on like exclusive and console war battles, but other than that, I think most of the games are still the same, and they still come out and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, like, if the console war didn't start then, it was going to start in the next generation or the next generation after that, because sooner or later it's like, okay, people are going to like, hey, If we all got the same games, why do I need to buy this console over that console? So which one is cheaper?
That's a good
Oh,
question.
that one's cheaper. I'm gonna buy
point.
that one. Then the other person like, wait, hold on, fam. Like, so I need to do something. Like, so I mean, the console war will start like, and it's inevitable, like Thanos to me.
What Game Alive? Look, what you got?
So I agree to an extent. Sonic would still exist, Crash Bandicoot would still exist, but their game type wouldn't be the same. Because if Mario is, the way it is, you're not going to want to follow that with Sonic being the same thing as Mario. Right. So at that point, let's say, for example, this started in the early Sega and Nintendo days, Sonic would mess around and be what Link ended up being, because they already got Mario doing something. So now Sonic is going to be a different type of game. Crash Bandicoot,
okay.
When Crash Bandicoot comes out, they already got Mario for the PlayStation. They got Sonic for the PlayStation. Now, Crash Bandicoot is going to have to be something totally different. It could be a shooter game. He'll end up being their Star Fox. So it really, like, it turns it into just like an alternate reality of what these games end up being, right, because Mario is on all the platforms, but it's already that style of game. And the last thing you want to do is get repetitive, especially like opening up the market like that. You don't want to be repetitive. Oh, Mario's doing it, we're going to do it. Especially if you're not differentiating consoles. Console wars exist for exclusives. That's basically what it's for. If you're already putting Mario on all consoles, then everybody else has to go on all consoles. That's point blank. That's just my opinion.
Now that's a good point, especially like how maybe those games do exist, but how do they alter that's a good point. I'm gonna be honest. So at first, initially, I was basically where y'all was. I was like, you just would have had Mario on the PS1 or Mario on the Genesis. What's the big? And then I started thinking about it. I was like, the gravity of Mario, where people basically, it's like, to some degree, they feel like they don't have to compete with Nintendo. They have to compete with Mario and Zelda. And the fact is, I think what would happen is, I'm not sure if Sonic exists, because at that point the war was on. The Genesis was out, games like Altered Beast and stuff, right? And they was like, yo, we need that mascot to rival Mario. If they had access to Mario, maybe, like, to your point, Sonic kind of changes itself, but I don't know if basically history plays out the same, to the point where like Tokyo Swift said, I'm with him. I don't even know if the PlayStation even exists. Maybe it's just a part of Nintendo, and like that alters the gaming industry, because at that point there's no need for Crash. There's no need for a mascot for PlayStation, because it's not a thing. Like for example, me and Tokyo Swift, you love Banjo Kazooie. That was supposed to come out on the Super Nintendo and look like Donkey Kong Country, but they saw all the press that Mario 64 was getting. It was like, nah, we got to turn this into a platformer, and then the rest is history. So I do believe in like these chain of reactions. The thought of Mario being anywhere else but Nintendo's odd to me, but at the same time, I'm like, if even now, if Mario Odyssey was available for PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, I mean, I could still say games that may not exist, like Astrobot. If they got, you know what I mean? And I know Astro's Playroom was basically a tech test to show off the controller, but if Mario is basically able to be on these other consoles, it's like, shit, we talk about all the time. If Nintendo and Xbox have a deal to where maybe some Nintendo games can go over there, I think the industry looks drastically different. And I think Nintendo would basically, at that point, they'd be at a disadvantage, because their biggest flagship product could look better on another console. So we might have 3 identical consoles in terms of hardware, or 2. Yeah. And maybe Sega does this and even go out of business. Who knows? Like,
yeah, it's like at that point, like, yeah, you're right, Jay. It's like, it's basically, it would force Nintendo to like basically step into like 2024, like into graphics and power wise, because it's like, like you said, like if you're playing like game, like say, but it take like Mortal Kombat 1, like Mortal Kombat 1 is on it came out on the Series X's and S's. PS4 or PS5 and Switch at the same time. Looks great on the on the first two consoles. It looks like garbage on the Switch. So it's like, it gets to the point where it's like, look, man, like they can't get away with that if everything's the same. Then I mean, like the portability of the Switch is great, but I mean, by the same time, I don't want to trade off being able to go outside and play my games if they look like doo doo, So it's like, yeah. So we probably have a much more powerful Nintendo Switch right now.
So speaking on what Jay said earlier, you figure with the possibility of Game Pass going to Nintendo Switch, rumors being right now, who's to say that Nintendo games won't be on Xbox?
Right.
Older ones, the classics.
Yeah, older ones, yeah.
So, that we'll still get that alternate universe in reality if that's the way it works out. And it might be certain characters that do come from the Nintendo library
right
to Xbox Game Pass or however they want to do it, which is going to be interesting to see anyways.
One thing I will say though, Mario 64 would have looked horrible on the PS1.
Everything looked horrible on the PS1 though. So, I mean,
the PS1 looked horrible on the PS1.
Yeah, it looked horrible.
Yo, all right, let's get to the chat. Just said, I can't even imagine what gaming would look like if they didn't back out that deal. I mean, like, gaming industry without Sony, like, would we just have? I mean, because if Sega doesn't fail, then what does Microsoft do? You know what I mean? Like,
because if they think about it like that, I mean, like, Sega couldn't compete with Sony and Nintendo, and because Sega flopped, like, it opened a door. It caused a power vacuum for Microsoft to step in. So I mean, it's like, I mean, Microsoft probably would have got into the gaming industry sometime anyway, but maybe not. Like,
I don't
not the Xbox. I think they would have, because there was too much money to be made. Like, I think that's what it's too much money.
There's my opinion. Had Sega succeeded, had Nintendo kept doing this thing, and the PlayStation still spawned, I think between those three consoles alone, I think Microsoft would have been a developer, not a console maker.
But I would counter with that. We're saying, like, if Sega was getting their bag, if Nintendo was getting theirs, PlayStation popped up and they're getting it. I mean, like, so what's the thing? Like, hey, well, everybody keeps coming up and keeps getting their money. Maybe we can get some of that money too. I'm not saying they probably be as successful.
I'll counter that, because then what would end up happening is what happened in the 83 game crash. The market was so saturated that we had a literal video game crash because of it. And that would be everybody's thought process is, if we oversaturate the market, we're going to have the 83 game crash again.
Is it possible we wouldn't see Xbox until around the 360 era?
Me personally, I think we wouldn't see Xbox at all. I think Microsoft would be, because they were already in games as it is.
Yeah.
I believe Minecraft was already in that era. So Xbox would be a title provider for these consoles. So they'll still be big in the space, but they wouldn't be direct consoles. They'll be more of studios.
Let me ask you this: does Sega still make the same mistakes just because they had access to a Mario powerhouse? I think they do. And Sega backing out, because, like, we all know Nintendo backed out of the Sony deal, spawned the PlayStation. Right. Sega also walked out of the room on Microsoft, and that spawned the Xbox. And then Sega ended up just going under around the same time.
I don't think that, like, that's like, I don't think that Sega failed. I mean, like, they're not around anymore, but I don't think it's just that they just got beat out by their competitors. Yeah, I mean, because it got to the point where the Dreamcast was still like the Dreamcast is still ahead of its time, like today, So it's like, so it got to the point where it's like the world wasn't ready for online gaming yet. So like,
it wasn't ready for not only for online gaming, but arcades in the home. That's what the Dreamcast was. They were not ready for that.
Yeah, I mean, and to the point where, like Sega, because I mean, Sega obviously was a big company, but they weren't as big as Nintendo. They didn't have the money like Nintendo, like because like what Nintendo was doing is that most of the games that came out in Japan were coming out in the US or in Europe or around the world. That wasn't the case for Sega. Like because most of the Sega Saturns like are still here. Like Jay, like that video that I showed you. Like I saw more Sega Saturns that one day than I've ever had in the
The whole
90s.
time
You
in
know,
America.
so yeah, so yeah, I mean, so it's like that's the thing. Like they wasn't really like
That's fair.
being able to push out because they didn't have the money, they don't have the funds, and the fact that I mean, like the one mistake I did say is definitely coming out with Sega Saturn and then not having a like a flagship Sonic game out, and then coming out with the Dreamcast almost immediately afterwards. Like it was like it was like like it was kind of like a DLC for consoles, pretty much.
Chat from Pops. He said, "What's good? Can young Joe Crack say lean back?"
Lean
back. My Pops says he looked like
lean back.
All right, so the next thing we're gonna get into. Let's talk about some video game films, y'all. Question: what is the best video game movie? Obviously, we're not talking about the TV show, like TV shows. We're talking about particularly film. It doesn't have to go out be in theaters per se, but an actual film, right? So I'm gonna kick. So basically, I just want to throw a few out there, and then like I'll tell what I think my best is. If y'all got any honorable mentions, of course, feel free to say those as well. But I actually think, man, and I actually thought long and hard because I look a lot of these video game films I like kind of by default. I'm gonna be honest. Some of them I know aren't good. I just still like them. But I think the best one that I've seen, to be honest, is Sonic 2. I think that film, in terms of the fan service, I think as a film by itself, I think that they had enough humor for adults, but also still for kids to get it. It like kind of did that perfect way of bridging that gap. And then obviously, if you played the games, then you pick up on all the references. Which I got.
If you don't mind, I actually liked the nostalgic one, and that's exactly what I was going to say. The 90s Mario movie. I actually liked that one. That was as bad as it was, is as good as it was. Yeah. As bad as that movie was, is as good as the movie was, because it was the first video game adaptation into a movie. So there's a lot of historical points behind that, from your little bean-headed Goombas dancing in the elevator with harmonicas, and their version of King Koopa being a human lizard, literally a human with scales. So that was a good bad movie.
Okay,
and it's both hand in hand.
Tokyo Swift, what you got?
I'm gonna go Pokemon the first movie. And I'm gonna say Pokemon the first movie, because when I say Pokemon the first movie, what's the scene that you think of when I say Pokemon the first movie?
Ash crying when Pikachu's about to die or whatever.
Right, like it's like fam. I remember going to see that in the theaters. Because I went with my aunt, like she took me, and my aunt, she wouldn't know Pokemon if Pikachu ran into her house and slapped her in the face, right? But but she's like, on that scene, I turn around and look at her, she is crying. I'm like yo, like it's like, so that game, that movie, and even Mewtwo, he was spitting bars in that. Again, I was like, yo, there's philosophy coming out of there. So I'm like, look, man, like, this was fire. I'm like honestly, like, this is like, I'm a little biased. Like I'm me being a Pokemon fan and all that, but I mean, but like I said, I mean, like, most video game movies aren't that good anyway. So I mean, so it's like yeah, but it's wild, man. Like it's that movie that definitely was really good to me.
So I got a question: was the movie before the game, or was the game before the movie?
The game was
before the movie.
Yeah. Okay. So I will say, to be fair, like when I first came across this question, my immediate thing was, Mortal Kombat, the 95 film.
That's just
it's
that's
a
just
good
as
bad
as
movie.
that's just as good as the Street Fighter 95
yeah.
film.
I know, but like I said, it's one of those things that I had to check myself because that's nostalgia talking, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like
Nothing wrong with that.
John the Cage versus Scorpion in the pit, right? And it's like get down here, and he kicks the thing off and he's stomping them out. Like it's just stuff that like I could watch those films, but like I said, it's more like I watch and I'm like I roll my eyes and I'm like okay, but I still like it. And Annihilation was even worse, although I
That
still
was
quote
so
Shao Kahn
bad.
from that movie,
That was
and all the
so
unnecessary flips and like like and Jax being as corny as ever in that film, and the cheesy looking arms and everything.
I got Mr. Ed. Like
Yeah.
so like
It's bad, man. But like I said, nostalgia. So I initially I was gonna say that, but then I had to check. I was like, all right, objectively speaking, that's when I came up with Sonic 2. Do y'all got any like honorable mentions or first ones that popped up?
I do. I got go ahead. Go ahead, Tokyo.
Yeah, I would say the Street Fighter movie, not like honestly, it's definitely not good at all. But like, only the reason why I would even mention it is because the dude who played M. Bison, Raul Julia, that was his last movie, like right before he died from like cancer, and he knew he was dying. So he's like, yo, you know what?
That's a good
This
point.
is basically like this is it for me. I'm a go hard, man. Like on this, like, and that's why he was probably the best part of that movie. And it's like he's so over the top, and like you know what, like I respect like the art, like for that standpoint. I mean, like it was not a good movie at all, but like the fact that I mean,
he took a bad script and owned it. He owned it, like it was phenomenal.
Cancer sucks, and like and most people like knowing that they're staring death in the face, like they're not even getting out of bed, let alone like going to make a movie that they know is bad, but they know that somebody's gonna like it, so they're gonna give it their all. Like that was like it's like say like for you it was the most important day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday. Yes, like it was
Game
Tuesday.
Alive, what you got?
The Power Rangers movie, based off the video games.
I didn't include that only because
the game is based off the movie, like around. But I mean, but that game was fire though. Like that
game. Unfortunately, with this specific like question, we would have to kind of play that. What came first, the movie or the show, or the game? Because at the end of the day, a lot of shows became movies that became video games. A lot, because we can go Resident Evil, we can go like there's so many things that we can go.
The game is based off.
The game is based off the movie. Yeah, so it's like we would really have to kind of.
Let me ask you this before I get to the chat, because there are some good ones in the chat. What about the current Super Mario movie? That was like the overwhelming answer I found on the internet.
It was like it's a good movie. Like I watched it like with my daughter like a couple months ago, like over the summer. It's a good movie. Like I feel like, but like it's funny because they were saying that it was like, oh, Nintendo is trying to make a Smash Bros. Cinematic universe, like, and it kind of felt like that. It kind of felt like they were leading up to something. And it's like, oh, hey, so look, this is Donkey Kong over here, man. Like, you want to see Donkey Kong movie? Hey, look, like that star shooting in the background that people are like, oh, hey, that was Kirby. You want to see that?
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So it's like I kind of felt like it was one of those things where, like, kind of like a Captain America for Earth Avengers movie, where it's like, hey,
the Mario verse
standalone movie. Yeah, it's a standalone movie, but just so you know, there's other shit happening in the background. Like,
right.
You know, so yeah.
I 100% agree with that, and I do see others coming from the Super Mario movie. I do see Donkey Kong getting his own thing. I do see Toadstool getting his own thing. Possibly Luigi getting his own Halloween special out of it or something like that. You know, like there's
what
so
about a
much
Metroid movie? Do you think they could pull that off? A Metroid movie?
Yeah.
Yes,
and it'll be fire too.
Yes and no, and I'm gonna explain why. For us gamers, absolutely, we know who it is. But then to attract the audience that isn't gaming without an introduction, it's not going to work.
They
So
had to
they
be
would
like,
they would have to be an introduction inside of one of these Mario games or one of these Nintendo movies.
Yeah.
For that to
because
happen.
they're already working on a Zelda movie.
Yes.
Like and like I'm telling you, like it's gonna like end up like because like they even like in the Super Mario movie they even had like basically it was like a Mario Kart and extended like it went on way too long, but like but I'm like, look, man, it's come like the Smash Bros universe is real, man. Like it's like it's coming.
It's happening. It's gonna happen. Mike Lewis said between the 32X, the Sega CD, and the Saturn, they spread themselves so thin in a short amount of time.
Fam, that was like a span like 3 years. Like that's like that's insane. That's insane.
I felt like they all came out on the same day.
Right. It feels like that. Like if you like it's like it feels like they came out all at the same time almost. Like it's like they was doing too much.
Yeah,
man, you had the 32X, the Sega CD, and the damn Mega Drive. You over here turning your whole console into a damn transformer for no reason.
Yeah, it's like add-ons and shit.
Mike Lewis, he agreed. He said Super Mario Bros. 90s OG. He definitely agreed with that. He said it's still a lot of fun. But I even heard it was good, bro. He said Resident Evil. So there it is. So like I said, I mean, look, man, that's a lot of good stuff. I also heard of like a possible like a not in theaters, but like in the movie based on Outlast being a thing. I don't know, like I'm not saying it's going to be out next year or nothing, but it's just something I read and doing like research for this.
There's one video game movie adaptation I'm waiting for. It's been rumored for such a long time, but I'm waiting for the Tom Clancy Division video game movie. They are coming out with it. They already came out with a Amazon Prime like 30-minute version of one.
Oh, that's cool.
But supposedly they're supposed to come out with
like an
actual film, and John Krasinski is actually going to be one of the main characters.
Oh, wow, nice. See, like what I don't want to see is like I don't want to see a Ghost of Tsushima movie. Like I want that to be a TV show. Like
that was something I heard about too.
Much, it's too much stuff. Like it's just too much stuff, too much story to pack into like a 2 or 2.5 hour movie. Like I want that to be fully fleshed out, man. Like
Mike Lewis said, I know it wasn't a straight game adaptation, but I love the gaming nod to Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, I mean,
yeah, that was good.
like that could work as well because I mean, like, because I mean, it was a video game, like I mean, so. Yeah, like Scott Pilgrim was like that did go hard, man. That did go real hard. That movie went hard.
You know what's funny? Once again, I don't know. I could be wrong, but didn't Ghostbusters the game come out before Ghostbusters the movie? I know Ghostbusters 2 came out after the movie, but I don't know if the first one.
I think the game. I think the movie came out first. I think the movie came out first.
Okay.
Justin, I'd say take your pick of any Pokemon or recent Sonic movie.
Yeah, I mean, like the Pokemon games, like the Pokemon movies, like I haven't watched them in a long time, but I mean, from what I hear, is like like they're pretty much because it's basically like you got to watch the anime like to keep up, and like it's basically like a bookend like to like a season or arc of the anime. So I mean,
did y'all watch the Sonic films?
I watched the first one. I saw the first one. I haven't seen the second one or the third.
Second one is good. The third one will be will be out. I don't think it's out yet.
It's coming out soon. Yeah, because the guy got Keanu Reeves
as Shadow, and then the Knuckles show is good too. Although it's like silly as hell. Yeah, it's on was it Paramount? Whichever Viacom owns. I forgot which company that is.
Paramount Plus probably.
Paramount. Mike Lewis said that Johnny Cage Scorpion fight, man.
Yeah, it was it was pretty. I mean, like especially for Mortal Kombat. I mean, you don't expect it to be like a PG-13. Like it's like
it that was a letdown.
But I mean, but it was still cool enough. Like the
especially
movie was still
90s,
cool enough. Yeah, especially in the 90s. Yeah, because
Victor Gonzalez was good, bro. He said, "What about the '90s Power Ranger movie?" Again, like I said, I wanted because initially I was like, okay, but then I was like, I mean, it's really based off the show and the show because the game came out after the film,
Yeah.
but it was at least technically in conjunction with the film. So
Yeah,
that's why I didn't put that on there. But that is one of the best games on the Gen and on the Sega and SNES. That game is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like
that game was fire, man. That
Well,
game was fire.
remember the Power Rangers did have two games. One came out before the movie, and one came out after the movie.
you're right, but after that movie game,
The movie game was the better one.
Yeah,
The movie game was the other one was just a fighter game.
Yeah. Jess said the current Super Mario movie was fire, and she said the Yoshi egg at the end. See, like they had they had like spoilers and like foreshadowing like crazy in that movie.
Yeah. I'm like that is just that's just a stepping stone. Like they're gonna they want a Nintendo want a whole cinematic universe.
Vic also said, anyone say Double Dragons?
Double Dragons, like what a throwback.
Wow, that's a good one. I mean, what probably know Halo film now, right? Because they did the sitcom. Did y'all like Uncharted?
I didn't watch it. Like I didn't see it.
Yeah,
like I was never really an Uncharted like game fan anyway. Okay. So I mean, I was like, it kind of like one of those things like, okay, I heard about it coming out, and then there's like, oh yeah, it's been out for a couple months. And I was like, wait, really? Like I haven't heard anything about it. So I was like, okay, so I guess it must not be that good. So I mean, it is what it is. Like it's
all right. So in that case, let's move on to the next topic. We talking about 2025 is just about here. We're gonna get through the holiday season. We have a lot of games that will be out this year, but there's also certain games that got pushed to next year. Certain games that we thought would be announced this year that haven't been announced. So what are some games that y'all have? We'll go 1-1-1, then we'll keep going around for a few minutes of games that have to come out in 2025. Like can't get pushed no more, must be out, or it has to get announced and put out because it's been too long of a wait. I'm gonna start this one off, man. So obviously we know, it's a safe bet. We all know the new Switch is going to drop.
Right.
And despite what some people say, I think we have to see Mario Kart 9. I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has done his job of selling like crazy. It's a part of every bundle. It's a part of the new holiday bundle for the Switch. I feel like everybody in the world got that game, but yet it's still on the top selling games each week for somehow.
Like who's buying it still? Yeah, like,
right.
You don't have it by now.
I think it's time for Mario Kart 9. I to be fair, I don't know what they could even do with the game at this point to make it new and fresh. But at the same time, I think if you're new Switch, new Mario Kart, I think Mario Kart 9 has to be out next year.
Yeah, I can see that. It's about that time. Like it's like Grand Theft Auto is the gift that keeps on giving. You know, so right. I mean, it's just So it's just. It's a racing game, so it's technically like there's endless amounts of replayability. So I mean, I mean, I guess like in terms like your question, like what can they do to make it fresh? Is really just it's not broke, so don't fix it. Like just like do the same thing, but just make sure you include all those extra maps and stuff like that you had out.
Right.
Plus a little bit more. You can throw in a little bit more characters, like because you can throw in a little bit more characters. Throw in different car models and stuff like that. So I mean, and then especially because there have been a lot of other games. Yeah, there's been a lot of other games,
like some maps from
other
Nintendo games, but that aren't Mario Universe specific.
Exactly.
There you go.
That up.
That is a good idea. All right, who's going next? What's a game that got to be out in 2025?
I'll go. I'll go just to piggyback off you, but like with the new Switch, it's got Metroid Prime 4, man. Like, it's been announced and teased since like I want to say like what since 1985. Like it's like guys, you gotta put it out now. I mean, and like now, especially because they actually released that that teaser trailer. Like this year, like hey, look. Now you can't say that. Okay, it's not speculation that's being worked on. It's coming. So I was like, it's time. Like that's especially like, and it'll coincide with the new console drop. Do it. do it. Like it's like
Dude, that might have to be a day one launch title. Like,
it has to be because honestly, like they don't have at least I don't think of they don't have a Mario game that's like in development right now, a main series Mario game. So like, and then usually like they usually don't like drop Mario games to sell consoles. Like they usually come a little bit afterwards. So
right.
I mean, like Metro Prime. Like I mean, it's got to be a day one.
That is a great one. But you got
so if it's not out by 2025, I hope we hear the official announcement, which would be the third installment of the Division.
Okay.
Yeah, or Division Heartland, one of the two coming out within 2025.
Something. Yeah.
I think it's gone. What? It's been
2019.
2019, yeah. So
Division
it's been
2,
already 5 years for the Division 2. You figure the first one came out in 2016, so we're looking at already 8 years.
Yeah.
So we're due. We're due around this time for a new one.
I think because you gotta assume like I obviously it's been worked on. So I think they could announce it maybe Summer Games Fest like that time frame and have it out by a holiday because it's gonna sell.
That's definitely gonna sell.
Another game I had that I was like, okay, it's time, you got to see it, and that's Fable. Was that technically before? I don't know the exact name, but the new Fable. I think
it's just Fable. Yeah,
twice now. We've seen more and more in depth one at Summer Games Fest. I mean, I'm sorry, the Xbox Showcase. It's time. I mistakenly said I thought it'd be out now for the 20th anniversary. Obviously, 2025 is looking more likely. I don't think it can go beyond that. I think 2025 we got to see that new Fable game, and I'm still hyped for it. But I think we have to see it.
Facts.
What you got, Tokyo Swift?
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say yeah. I'm like in terms of like the Fable game. Yeah, like it's like. It's been time, like, and like, in Xbox, like, they seem to be like either forgetting or not caring about this anniversary because the same thing happened with Halo. It's like everybody thought it was gonna come out on the anniversary, and it's like, nope, it came out next year, guys. Sorry. So, yeah, man. But let's see. For my next game that I feel like it has to come out in 2025, man, because it's been too long. I'm like, look, man. You got to, I don't know, even though it's just got announced like that, but like that Ghost game is right on time. Like I know it's brand new, like just got announced like a couple weeks ago, but still like
it can't get pushed. It can't get pushed.
Yeah, it can't get pushed. It can't get pushed. It's got, especially when Grand Theft Auto is already rumored to being pushed back to 2026. So. That is the year. Like, if you want to drop a major AAA game, like, and to get like a game of the year, like a recognition like that, you got to do it in 2025. If GTA is going to get pushed to 2026, it's like as soon as you like, if I'm a developer, like if you see that, GTA, we're coming out in 2025. Yep. Like we have to
get that window. Yep.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah, because especially the fact that if you showed it at September of this year,
it was a state of play. Yeah, so it's fresh. I mean, but yeah, like especially with all the hate is already receiving just solely because like the main character is a woman. Like, oh no, so it's So I mean, it's to the point where it's like like you gotta strike with iron side, and you gotta because you don't want to end up in a situation like with Sucker Punch doesn't want to end up in a situation where it has to go up against like because it came out a couple weeks after The Last of Us part 2,
right? Bad
time. Like they didn't win Game of the Year, but they won the first place at the Bad Timing Awards. So it's like it's they you really like especially there's no real major games scheduled to release on 2025. Yeah. That's why we're doing this category anyway. Yeah, like you have to get it out there 20.
That's a good one
at all costs.
Tokyo Swift over here busting out the Live Free Die Hard reference. You act like I ain't catch that great time at the Bad Timing Awards. That was Justin Long right there. That Perfect Dark game. They can't delay that. They can't right now, like Tokyo and you are saying this 2025, especially if, and you know how this might happen, GTA 6 gets pushed back any later than what it's projected to now, you have to come out now. Because
Right.
if you come out when GTA 6 comes out, you're not selling a good game. And everybody's time is going to be occupied with
Yep.
GTA 6, getting everything out, doing the campaign, getting a multiplayer, just doing everything in their mother, creating content, doing all the GTA is going to be such a takeover of the gaming industry that you have to get everything out beforehand.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you wait after, you put yourself and your studios in jeopardy.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Is there
Because like I mean, Jay, just like to piggyback of what Gamer was saying, I'm like, remember when we was doing the shows in September? It's like, oh, hey, do you remember this game? Nah, because Grand Theft Auto came out. Do you remember this game? Nah, because Grand Theft Auto came out. So I'm like, like, don't get left behind by the wayside, thinking you can compete with Grand Theft Auto. I mean, I get it. Like to be the best, you got to beat the best. No, like you got to survive. Like, and you're not like. GTA 6 is basically the game it doesn't even have a release date, and it's already probably going to be the best-selling game of all time on their opening day. So I mean, like, so you can't compete with that. You cannot compete with that.
At this point,
you could compete. You can compete within your own genre, but you cannot compete with GTA.
I was going to say that at this point,
do that.
At this point, Call of Duty will be okay. If there's a Mario game, a Zelda game, those would be okay. But we're talking about franchises that run deep. You know what I mean? So it's like everything else is like you're gonna get pushed. Like we always talk about that backlog, right? Every other game will be in that backlog until further notice. So like the last game that I had, I don't if y'all got more, that's cool. But the last one I had was the Wolverine game. PlayStation.
That's what I was gonna say. That's
I was like, yo, we've heard about this game for a few years now, and I thought it was supposed to be out in January of 25, and then have you ever heard much since? I know they got leaked and hacked and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's why.
That's the last time I heard of it. Yeah, when they got
we talked about the state of Sony like recently, and I'm like, all these exclusives that they were supposed to have, and it feels like it hasn't been happening. They've been doing a lot of games as a service, and that's kind of been in bad faith. I feel like the Wolverine is, it's at the end of the day, it's X-Men. So it's like it's going with the success of Spider-Man. I feel like it has to be out in 25. You know what I mean? It has to.
I think they might save that one for the PS5 Pro to give it something to use as a hey, this is what we can do for you.
Okay.
Outside of charging you an arm and a leg and your firstborn, look at this game.
Yeah, because like it's wild. Yeah, like I agree. Like that's what I was gonna say the Wolverine as well. Like it's been feel like it's been years, or at least like 3 or 4 years since that got
we heard about it. Yeah,
and it's like, guys, like hurry up and drop it, man. Like it's like, what are you waiting for? But like my next game that has like it got to come out in 2025. Go back to Nintendo. I would say Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing, they got to come out with a new game because it's due. Because
2020.
Because I always they came out in 2020. Like, and I always say that like it's like I mean, Last of Us Part 2 won Game of the Year that year. Ghost of Tsushima should have won Game of the Year that year, but the actual Game of the Year that year was Animal Crossing New Horizons. Like
it took the world by storm.
It kept the same through the pandemic. And like if people don't understand this, like Nintendo actually because of the pandemic, they actually released it earlier than they were going to. Like so,
and it sold the Switch Lite too.
Yeah, and it sold the Switch Lite, and it's so like it's so much stuff. Like it was so much stuff you can do in that. Like it's a great game for like for the family. Like and it's basically because it was one of those games. Like that was one of the games that my wife and I realized, like, yo, we need another Switch, right? like we need another one. So it's like I mean, and like Nintendo said that they were going to support that game for 3 years. It's been 4 years. So I mean, so now it's like, okay, now where's that next game? Especially like with that new console coming out, it will be a good time to say it'll be an easy way to sell that console because like a lot of people are waiting for Metroid Prime. But I'll go on a limb and say more people are waiting for that Animal Crossing game, like because like it's like one of those games that it's not really it's like a slice of life anime, so it's like I mean, you didn't have to be in the video games to be in the Animal Crossing. You can go in there and just do whatever you can go in there and live your best life as a farmer, man. Like you can just do whatever you want to do in that game. So I think that game has to come out soon because like it's time. Like they're going to stop supporting the New Horizons game. So give the fans something that they're going to want, man.
I agree. The pandemic created demand for not only Animal Crossing. Call of Duty Warzone benefited from that pandemic heavily.
Hell yeah.
Heavily.
Hell yeah.
Fortnite benefited from that pandemic so heavily. The Battle Royale genre was huge because of the pandemic, because nobody can go nowhere. Nobody could do nothing. This is what we're going to do.
And it made each game fresh too. Like
yes. So 2020 was the peak of getting something out, because if you got something out that year, you were set, because you literally had no competition. Everybody started shutting down.
They couldn't make new
games. They couldn't make new games.
You can't make new games.
Nobody was going nowhere.
Right.
So they had to sit in front of your game. So, but for me, I would have to say another Pokemon game. Another Pokemon game. I think we're at that stage right now where we need something new. We need something fresh. For the new Super Nintendo Switch. Kind of make it one of their flagship day of drop games. Like this game comes out and these are the titles you're coming with it, like that are available day of drop. And I think Pokemon needs it, and it could be the Legend of Arceus type, just different pace, because they just went back to the traditional Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet, yeah.
So do the second version of the Legend of Arceus one. I think that would be phenomenal.
I think that's a good idea. I actually miss when they'd be like, okay, we're putting out a new console. These are the games that's going to be available at launch. And then you're like, damn, do I get them all? Now that, we're all adults, right? Do I get them all? Do I pick just this one?
Which one's appeasing
both
to
of
me?
them, right? Yeah.
I miss those days. I miss those Toys R Us catalogs that tell you everything.
Versus like, oh, we putting out a console, and it's like, what games you gonna launch? I don't know. Like,
I don't know, man. I'm like,
we got a better one. We got a new console coming out, and you can put your old games on it. How about that?
TBA, to be announced.
I'm gonna ask you this partially because I'm interested, also partially because the spinning wheel is not working. So we're gonna wrap up right after this question. Is Grand Theft Auto 6 immune to this, because this gravity is so massive that like when it drops, because technically
no. Like I'm gonna stop right there. I'm like, no, because like honestly, like we would have kept going, that I would eventually said Grand Theft Auto 6, because it's one of those things that is like, one, like, it's been going way too long. Way too long, like without a sequel, and two, the longer it takes, the more hype is going to get built up to the point where it's like, yo, it's been 10, 11, 12, 15 years. This game better be perfect.
Right. You can't have no
from the word go. You can't have no bugs. Can't have no glitches, no flaws, no nothing. It got to be like, I don't want to put like the controller got to melt in my hand before I put it down. Like it's like, because at that point, because it's like, look, man, you waited way too long. You've like look, you had too much time. You can't be like, oh well, we didn't anticipate that, or we'll fix this. Like no. You've had the time to do this. So it's like, so like I was saying, like, if we'd have kept going, Grand Theft Auto, I would have said Grand Theft Auto 6 eventually. But it's something that it's got to hurry up and come out, man. Especially now that you've not only announced it, but you've shown trailer footage for it. So so it's not like rumored in development. Like look, this is imminent now. So it's like, look, you got that, you got this, you got that. You gotta drop it, especially because like Rockstar don't really do nothing else anymore. Like this is all Grand Theft Auto. So Red Dead or Grand Theft Auto. I mean, and I don't hear nothing about no next Red Dead game. So I mean, it's it's just like these two games pretty much. So like you don't got nothing else to do. I mean, so like it's better be fired, man.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I'm gonna say they do get a pass, and I'll explain. Grand Theft Auto, and I really want you to think about this since its inception. A has never given us a bad game. B has always given us a complete game. You can say what you want about Vice City or San Andreas or whatever.
That London 69 game.
That London 60. But those we don't. When we speak of Grand Theft Auto, we don't talk PlayStation 1, and you know that.
Okay. So we're talking about after Grand Theft Auto 3. Okay.
Yeah, we're talking Grand Theft. We're talking about the Grand Theft Auto we've grown to love, not the people walking around. All right, not that. You remember that's the police chasing you. So they get a pass because, like I said, they've never given us an incomplete game. Their games are complete off the rip. They gave us the best of the capabilities of whatever consoles they're dealing with at that time, from Grand Theft Auto 3 all the way to GTA 5 right now. Yeah. And I know for a fact that when this one does come out, this is going to exceed our expectations of what we're expecting from Grand Theft Auto. We're going to see stuff in this game that, and I'm not even trying to be funny, that we might not even mentally be able to comprehend how they thought about doing it. Like, where did they get the idea from? Where did this happen? How did this come about? You're going to be able to dine at I'm sure you're going to be able to dine at a Waffle House and get into scraps at a Waffle. It's just random Florida shit. It's going to happen.
Get that pecan waffle,
exactly. Man. Yeah, I'll give you a real 2-piece and a biscuit. So we're going to see such great levels of content creation, especially, and once again, this is a rumor right now, but I think it is happening. If they introduce and include the role playing, if they include that, that's it.
Yeah,
hands down, shut it down. This game is going to be going on for another 10 years after that because of role playing alone, because of online alone, because of the story alone. And then if the way that they're rolling it out is the way it's going to happen, where we're going to have this part of the map open, but DLCs will continue it through the lifespan of the game for extra parts of the map. That's just more content.
That could be,
that's just more.
And then
now it's just going to be even bigger and bigger and bigger. So if they put $1 billion into this game and get $7, $8, $9 billion back, can you imagine what GTA 7 is going to be?
Right.
All right, we're going to get a full-blown production.
$14 billion into that game.
And that's why I say they do get a pass, because I know they're not going to let us down. They're not going to let us down.
I will say this. I actually agree with everything you said. However, my thing is, I'm thinking of, they could really take the stand right now, drop this game holiday 25. Because obviously we know adults like us, we're going to buy the game, right? And 99% of us can buy the game whenever it launches. It could launch tomorrow. We'll go out and buy it. It could launch next week. We don't have to wait till Christmas. But if they dropped it holiday 25, because there's a bunch of kids who play Grand Theft Auto who shouldn't. So, and those kids rely on their parents to buy it. Now, I'm not saying parents can't go out and buy their kids games on a random week, but if it coincides with Christmas, let's say like a Black Friday type deal, or like even like when Halo dropped, like December 10th, you know what I mean, when Infinite dropped, or whatever it was, that mad dash to the stores to pick up the physical copy, that mad dash to make sure it's installed on Christmas morning when their kids wake up, stuff like that. We talking about possibly like I said, I'll put the number out there. I think it could sell 20 to 30 million at launch.
I think it'll be more than that. Between physical and digital downloads, you're looking at almost 100 million copies off rip.
Yeah, that's easily, because I mean, there's you got to think about. I'm like, there's billions of people on this planet. I'm not going to go ahead and say that, oh well, everybody in the world plays Grand Theft Auto like that. That's insane. But let's just say 1% of the population of the entire planet plays. You know how many millions of people that is? So it's so it's it's like I say honestly, I'd be surprised if it's not at least 100 million copies sold like that day because
We
I
can
mean,
figure this
like,
out right now.
the
Jay,
record is
pull up, pull,
5.
pull up the sales of PS5, PS4, and Xbox, and that's going to be your number of GTA copies
so
that will be sold.
the record right now is GTA 5, and that sold 11.2 first day.
11.
That's the
That's
you're gonna blow that out of the water. It's gonna blow
those
that
are
out of the
rookie
water.
numbers. Those are
Yeah,
baby
yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, you gotta pump those up, man. You gotta pump those numbers up. Yeah, those like that's gonna get blown out of the water.
I could
Like,
say 50 to 100 million day one or first week.
Put it like this. Who do you know that has a console that can play Grand Theft Auto 6? Because that's just probably not going to coming out day one for the Switch. Like unless like the Super Nintendo Switch is out and they can play it. But so like let's bar that because like, we don't know when it's coming out. Like
And then,
say like who has a PlayStation or Xbox? Do you know that's not gonna buy this game?
I can't think of one, to be honest.
Not like, you know why? Because there isn't a person that's not going to buy. I mean, because there are some people who I don't like Grand Theft Auto, blah blah stuff like that. I'm like, those are the weirdos. Like, and they're in their extreme minority too. I'm like, yeah, it's because it's one of those games that is like, it don't matter if you like the genre, if you like the play style, you're going to buy it. Like you're going to buy it because you know everybody else is going to buy it, and like you can play online.
You gotta
like,
have
like,
it, yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta have it because you don't want to be caught like outside at school or at work or at the park or wherever it's talking, and everybody's talking about Grand Theft Auto, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, so it's like, yeah, so like you don't want to be that guy. So it's like, look, yeah.
So right now we're looking at
game.
around 90 million between the Series X/S and the PS5 combined.
what about
So
the
we're looking at
PS4?
about 90 million. It's not going to be on the PS4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you're looking at 90 million consoles right there, right?
Yeah.
Now, what sucks about that is the fact that it's already confirmed that it will not be day one play up PC.
PPC,
Because that would be, you're looking at about another maybe 50, 60 million copies PC sales alone.
Yeah, because like and also you also got to take into account the people who do have multiple consoles, and like because like some like they'll buy it for both. Like, oh, I'm gonna play, especially if it's not cross-platform, or I'll buy it on Xbox to play with my Xbox friends. I'll buy it on PlayStation to play with my PlayStation friends, or like say like if it does come out on a new Switch, or I'll just buy it on that too, so I can walk around and play on the train or something like that.
That's
so it's
point.
like, yeah. So I mean, like it's like
there are a lot of people who bought multiple copies of GTA 5 because it was like, well, I'm playing like in the same household. Like I'm playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'm playing too. Like, you're not about to take up all this time.
Especially
but
like
you brought up
nowadays.
You brought up a good point, Tokyo. I hope that they don't do that disservice to us and not make this a cross-platform.
What is it?
It gotta be right.
Cross-platform.
Crossplay. Yeah, crossplay.
Yeah,
it gotta be right.
If they don't make this crossplay, they're doing the fans a disservice. Don't get me wrong; they're gonna line their pockets because most likely everybody will get both copies. One for PS5 if they have both consoles, but still,
is GTA 5 crossplay?
It's not. It's not.
It's not
crossplay.
I didn't know that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That's because a lot of people like they don't understand. It's like, yeah, if you make this crossplay, that's cheaper for you because that's less service you got to run. Because it's like, oh, imagine like, because okay, I say like a Call of Duty, if it wasn't crossplay, I gotta get servers for Xbox, I get service for PlayStation, get service for the Switch, get service for PC. If it's all crossplay, you really just invest in like one or two larger servers, and then like so. I mean, like it's and it actually costs you more money to segregate that. So I mean,
okay. You got anything else before we wrap up for 2025? Is anything that you want to see announced particularly? I'll start. I mean, first, nobody else might play besides me, But in addition to the division, I want to see another Tom Clancy game announced, man. Like I don't know what, because I know I'm not going to get a Rainbow Six game.
There needs
I
to
know
be
I'm
a new damn Rainbow Six game. That's
I
it,
agree
this
with you,
is
but
That's
I don't
this
think
been
we're
is
a
going
while.
to get it.
yeah,
I don't think we're going to get it.
it's been 100 years, bro. They started that they
Yeah.
started that Rainbow Six in the Revolutionary War.
Right, yeah. Like
They had
it's like
muskets.
if we're going with games that we want to see announced, like because it's definitely not in development, unfortunately. But I want to see a sequel to It Takes Two. I mean, like make the It Takes three game. You know, like make the because like I was telling you, it was like I was playing a game with my wife like for our like wedding anniversary, and our daughter was watching us play it, and she was like, yeah, it's like, oh, now hey, I want to play next time. Let's just play It Takes Three. I'm like, that game don't exist. But it should exist. I'm like that's galaxy brain, like from you. I'm like, yo, like, cause that would be fire. I'm like, look, man, especially because like it was a family of three. So I mean, like, yo, like let them get it. I'm like, cause I really like that game. Like I was telling you, it was one of those games where it's like, like why would that game win game of the year? Now I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see why it won game of the year. So yeah, like I would love to see like that game get announced. I'm like, cause like yeah, that'd be super hype for like in my house.
You got anything that you want to see announced?
I would love to see a new NFL Blitz or an NBA Jam announced for this generation. Give people who never had the opportunity to play those games when they were at their peak the opportunity to not only experience it, but experience it with current day rosters. That's what I would love to see. That would be so dope if there was a way for them to do that.
The other game I got, and then I got a question for y'all, and then we'll wrap up. Obviously, new Switch. Y'all know me, 3D Mario game. The last one came out 2018, a year after the Switch. So I'm on the fence, like announce it late next year, probably in that September direct. And you could put that out in 18. Just give me that announcement next year. My question for y'all is, does Call of Duty take that year off? Like they said they were next year.
I mean, like they're dropping Black Ops now, so I mean, like what is there to do? Because honestly, at that point, it's like if you drop another game next year, you're basically vulturing like yourself. Like, I mean, like why would I keep playing Black Ops 6? Like if like whatever Modern Warfare like 17 is coming out next year. So I mean, like it gets to the point where it's like, look, it's like because like Pokemon did the same thing for a while. It was like, okay, they were coming out almost every year. It's like, I guess I'll stop playing this game now, so I can start playing that game. So I mean, it's like yeah, like let it rock for a while. I mean, you would think that how games like companies they see what Rockstar did with Grand Theft Auto, or Bungie did with Destiny, like let your games rock for a while and then come out with a sequel to it. I mean, like take some time. I don't need a Call of Duty game every year because like same thing with sports. Really, I see why they do it with sports waiting because the rosters turn over really fast.
It's still with sports. It still doesn't matter because that's not an update can't fix.
Right.
Exactly. So I'm like, I can see why they do it, but at the same time, they don't need to do it. Like it's like I don't need this because, like I said, like MLB The Show 24. Yeah, I'll be playing that until Show 25 come out, and then the 24 gets Kobe into the uninstall pile. So I mean, it's like, so I mean, like it's like let it rock for a little while. Man.
Based on the beta, I think Black Ops 6 could rock for 2 years, and then you add in and update the Warzone, which could replace the launch of a new game. I think it can rock for 2 years, and that's just based off me playing the beta. I think it's a well put together game. I think it could. I think it should. Will it? That's the question. Gaming Live, like, what's your thoughts? And then we'll get out of here.
It could last for 2 years, but it's not going to.
Right.
It's not going to. That's actually the problem. That's the problem. I think if Call of Duty was to take 1 year on, 2 years off, we would be able to come into a fresh, more desirable game. But they don't understand that there's a lot of ways for them to profit off this. These season passes, these cosmetics, you give us good cosmetics, you give us good season passes, but you give us an overall good game like Fortnite has right now, you're gonna make your money tenfold.
Right.
Fortnite is such a successful battle royale game because it's a simple mechanics. There's no cheaters for the most part, but they're selling cosmetics.
Yeah.
And they're not changing anything but the map. They're not doing anything when it comes to the actual mechanism of the game.
Right.
And you figure since 2017, that's when Fortnite originally came out till now, they're the number one battle royale game in the world. And they're making billions of dollars off of one game. That whole entire company exists off of one game.
Right.
Like it's ridiculous. And what bothers me is that nobody has the mental capacity to figure that out.
Yeah, it's really weird.
You see it, you put your finger on it, but let's go this direction anyways. Like, how slow can you be?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because like especially because like with like to your point, with like the internet being internet these days and being able to push out like additional content, like I don't need like a new game every year. You can just keep pushing out additional content to patch the game out. Like for instance, like I play like Civilization 6. Civilization 6 came out I think in like 2016, maybe 2017. Yep. But they're still putting out content every like there's a chat challenge, a new chat challenge like every month. Every month, so they're still putting out, and like the Civ 7 is not coming out till February. So
I mean, the 5.
Yeah, it's like
10 years. What 13? Yeah.
And like if you play the base game for Civilization 6, and then you go and then play the game in its current state right now with all the DLCs, all the patches like that, it's a completely different game. But it's like, so I mean, like you can alter a game like just like through patches and DLC and stuff like that. You don't need to come out. Okay, well, you're gonna bring a brand new game for what? Like it's like at that point, it's nothing but just like agree. Like pretty like, hey, I could give you these patches, but I can sell to you for $59.99. so yeah. So I mean, it's like And those are the companies that tend to fail, and they're like, I don't know why we're failing, blah blah, stuff like that. I'm like, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, we know because you instead of just patching a game and just adding new things over time, nah, let's just sell them a new game, but it's the same game as the last game. Like that. That's why for Madden fans, a lot of Madden fans, it's like, oh, they buy the game every 2 years because from year to year, it's not that much of a change. That should be alarming to EA, but it's not because they know, you know what, somebody's buying it. Screw it. So like, and because it's less work for them because they're not really doing anything. Like it's like, oh, Madden 24, no, Madden 25 now, Madden 26 now. It looks just like Madden 23 though. But
all right, so that's all we got
real quick. Aaron Judge just hit a 2-run home run. We're up 6-2.
Let's go.
Let's get it. Let's go Yankees, man.
Finally, in the 7th too, right? He finally did, finally doing something, man. Let's go, man.
There we go. All right, yo, that's all we got for this week's show, man. Next week, hopefully, Yankees will have wrapped up the ALCS. We'll be back game with Live Look. Appreciate you as always. You're always welcome. Tokyo Swift.
Appreciate you.
We'll catch y'all next week. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.